Have you heard of the guy who's trying to reverse aging in himself? Some tech founder named Brian Johnson. Well, the New York Times had a really interesting story yesterday about how he has all of his employees, sexual partners, vendors, and contract workers sign confidentiality agreements. His fiancée recently filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board. She worked with him and she filed a complaint about the overly broad agreement that he had her sign. And then reportedly in 2020, he required a date to sign a confidentiality agreement before they did acid together. I thought it was interesting to read out loud one of the provisions in one of these agreements that the New York Times saw. So, workers must keep confidential any non-public information regarding Brian's home, office, personal effects in his home or office, any spaces rented or owned by Brian, any vehicles, planes, automobiles, boats, or other methods of transportation that are not publicly accessible, or areas of his home or such space that are not publicly accessible. In one agreement, employees had to attest that they were okay with Mr. Johnson wearing little and sometimes no clothing and no underwear, and with hearing discussions of sexual activities, including erections. They also had to agree that Mr. Johnson's behavior was not unwelcome, offensive, humiliating, hostile, triggering, unprofessional, or abusive. With his fiancée, who worked for him at his brain tech startup, Kernel, apparently the agreement that she signed, there was a penalty of $500,000 for each time she broke the rules. And she basically had to abide by that agreement until she filed this suit with the NLRB. Anyway, it's worth reading the New York Times story, and I'm curious, would you sign a confidentiality agreement if it meant that you could work on a project to allegedly defy aging? Let me know.